Were you into the hardcore stuff at all? The when
Well, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, the bands themselves, the hardcore bands themselves, weren't violent, but the audience they attracted, I don't know, they attracted a lot of people trying to smash up their shows. So they sort of almost self-destructed in a way. That started to happen in England as well when the kind of oi scene happened, where it was a bit more skinhead. That's when a lot more violence started to happen. You know, the first wave of punk was over in England basically by 78. That first initial wave that had happened from 75 to 78 was starting to pass. And then you started to get these other movements, the Oi movement and that, a lot of skinheads. So, and then in America, it was more the hardcore scene kind of, yeah, it sort of attracted a lot of violence because they were singing a lot more sort of agitated music. It was a lot harder music, but somehow or other, it sort of attracted this audience that ended up destroying the scene. It was kind of, and I watched, there was a documentary about it that I never really realized quite what was happening with what happened that hardcore got destroyed. You know, I never, until I saw this documentary and then I realized, right, the bands themselves weren't violent, but the audience they attracted for some reason was actually out to come there and destroy the gig, you know.
I think it's because of the sensationalist press coverage that was going on, and because of like everyone misinterpreting like what you guys were doing in the early days, like pogoing, and then pogoing became slamming because
Yeah.
we got to take it up a notch.
Yeah, initially Sid Vicious started pogoing because he didn't like the fact the Bromley contingent, we didn't dance kind of thing. We just stood and watched it. So he started it so he could jump all over us and push us around. But
I hated the Bromley contingent, and I invented a dance that would involve being able to knock them all over the fucking 100 Club. So I just used to throw myself about, leap up like horizontal and sideways, just like boing, 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 boing. You'd like land on them and smash them into the floor.
that's how it started. And but yeah, that's a little bit of a shame. That's what happened with hardcore because a lot of the bands weren't violent themselves. It was just what they were sing. They were singing about things in a violent way because they were so committed. But then it led to yeah, you're right. I think it got the newspapers or whatever exploded. That's what they kind of were doing in England. I mean, they were doing the same thing. They were trying to destroy the scene by saying it was a bunch of kids being violent when it wasn't. It was a bunch of kids being artistic or searching for a way to express themselves, or searching for a way to be seen in a society that was saying, you don't count, you know, we don't care. You know, there's no money in the economy, and there's no money coming from young people. So you're not, you don't count. You know, you're not being seen. You'd say today.
Yeah. Um, you brought up Sid Vicious. Do you feel like what do you feel about his legacy and the way he's kind of looked at? Because I think a lot of the sort of negative aspects that kind of showed up in America were people kind of worshiping Sid Vicious and taking up like the pogoing or just the self-destruction of it.
Well, it's sad, really, because Sid did become a bit of a victim of himself. And really, he was a nice guy. You know, really, he was when you got to know him, he was actually a nice chap, really. But he just yeah, he kind of took the image of being Sid Vicious like a little too seriously or something, and it led to his downfall. I mean, yeah, he didn't stand much of a chance really. I mean, his mother, I think, was a junkie and stuff, so and I don't think he hadn't really had a real father or anything. So I don't know, so many things kind of worked together, and then maybe the thing of ending up being Sid Vicious sort of just kind of like ended up destroying him in a way. It was sad because actually he probably could have. Actually, I said to Jonesy about him being the singer in the Pistols. He said, "Oh, I tried to work with him on my way. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare doing those few songs we did. You know, something else and my way. It was a nightmare." He said it was terrible. So I couldn't think of him being the singer at all. It's a shame because that's what he should have been. Probably would have been better off being because actually could sing. You know.